This video is about frequency distributions. Okay, so first let's talk about what is a frequency distribution. Frequency distribution is a way to summarize your data in the form of a table. So say I have a bunch of data, let's say student's grade. Right? I have first student with grade of 56, for example. Second 72, third one 74, then 83, 81, 85. Okay, say my class only have these 6 students, right? I want to summarize my data by making a frequency distribution. So first, I'll make a table like this. On one side is your class. Here we'll call scores. Okay. And on the other side is the frequency. Okay, so now I'm going to define my class. I would like to go with from 50 to 59, that's one class. From 60 to 69, that'll be one class. And then from 70 to 79, one class. 80 to 89, one class, and 90 to 99, and that's another class, for example. All right, so for this frequency table, for the class 50 to 59, we have only one frequency, right? The frequency of one data fall into that class. And how about for the class from 60 to 69? 0. Right? How about for the class from 70 to 79? I have 1, 2. So have frequency of 2 for that class. For the class from 80 to 89, that's 1, 2, 3. 3 of them. And for the class from 90 to 99, that's 0. Right? So this is a frequency distribution, or we call it a frequency table. It tells you how many times your data fall into each class. Okay. So now here I have another frequency distribution. It tells you the McDonald's dinner service times. Right? You can tell here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes. It tells you the time from 60 seconds to first class is from 60 seconds to 119 seconds, and so on. And for each class, there's a assigned frequency. Okay, so let's define some definitions here. First, I want to talk about is called lower class limit. So what is a lower class limit? So for each class, the smallest number is the lowest class limit. So what are the lowest class limits for this distribution table? So for the first class, it will be 60. Right? That's the smallest number for that class. And for the second class, the lower class limit is 120. And so on. The next class, the lower class limit, 180 and 240, 300. So those are the lower class limit. Okay, so the next definition is called upper class limit. The definition of this is pretty similar to lower class limit. Upper class limit is the biggest number that in each class. So for the first class, the biggest number is 119, second class 179, and third class fourth class, fifth class. Okay. Next definition is called class boundaries. So class boundaries are the numbers to separate the classes. So for example, so to separate the first class and the second class, that will be, so the last number, the smallest number in the first class is 119, right? The biggest number in the second class is 120, and the class boundary between those two classes will be 119.5. Okay, so similarly, the next class boundary we can find will be between 179 and 180, so it's 179.5. And between these two is 239.5, and between the last two classes the boundary will be 299.5. But till here we're not done. You need to add a number here and a number here using the same pattern. So the first number should be 59.5, and the last number will be 359.5. So those are the class boundaries. Okay, next definition is class midpoints. So what are class midpoints? They are values in the middle of the classes. So how do you find it? It's actually pretty easy. You add up the lower class limit and the upper class limit and divide it by 2. That's your class midpoints. So how do you find it? You use your lower class limit plus your upper class limit and then divided by 2. This number, it will be the class midpoint of each class. Okay, so the first class midpoint will be, if you add 60, right, and 119, that's the lower class limit and upper class limit, and divided by 2, you would have 179 divided by 2, which is, what is this number? 80, is 89.2? Yeah, 89.5. 89.5, right? That's the first class midpoint. And the class midpoint of the second class, you do it in the same manner. That's 120 plus 179 divided by 2, whatever that is. You can use a calculator now if you want to. So that's 149.5, second class limit, and in the same pattern you can find the rest. The third one is 209.5. The fourth class midpoint would be 299. So 269.5, and the last one in the same pattern you should have 329.5. Okay, So these are the class midpoints. Okay, so next definition, class width. Okay, so class width is the difference between two consecutive lower class limits. So if you look at two consecutive class limits, let's look at the first two. This will be one lower class limit. That will be the next lower class limit. The difference between those two will be your class width. So in this case, it will be 120 minus 60, which is 60. This is the class width.